Are we going to take the kid gloves off the kid? I got word on Thursday that the game plan was basically rinse and repeat Texas, and I didn't say anything. I wish I would have now, but I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure if that intel was just someone shooting at the hip or repeating something they heard, or if indeed that's what it was. And if it was them just shooting from the hip, good call, because that was literally the Texas game plan, rinse and repeat at the beginning of the game. But I'm not so sure that that was the wrong game plan necessarily. But at some point,
I am Ron Burgundy.
I love it.
at some point, aren't we going to have to take the kid gloves off the kid and let him just go ball, Corey?
I mean, eventually, but I think this is part of his development, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I actually think it's a correction of sorts from the past. There's a couple little elements to it, I think. I was thinking about it a lot. Actually, Eric, I took the question seriously today, and I actually thought about it. And
Thank you. And then you went and called me Ron Burgundy.
Exactly. That's a compliment. That dude was a great anchor. Anyways.
Yes, the best.
He was the best. But I mean, it's like, in my opinion, you look back to C.J. Stroud, right? And Ryan Day leaned so heavily on the passing game that really the offense became one-dimensional. And Stroud was so talented, he could carry it against most teams. But it left the run game and other pieces kind of underdeveloped. It didn't help that Kerry Combs was, Kerry Combs and Matt Barnes were the defense coordinator for that first year. That certainly didn't help. But, but when they ran into Michigan or Georgia, it caught up to them a little bit. Not that CJ wasn't great, but Alex can identify with me when the Packers decided Aaron Rodgers is it. We're no defense, who cares? Running game, who cares? Aaron Rodgers is going to outscore everybody. And I think he's changed his way of developing the new quarterback, because I think he sees Sayin, and I think he sees a guy that he knows he's got something with this one. He's special. Julian Sayin is definitely special. So I think it's more he's changing his philosophy and how he brings along the quarterback. The rest of the team, the defense is playing extremely well. With the run game, we're starting to push with Bo Jackson and get better. He wants the offensive line to coexist and gel correctly before he just leans on his quarterback. And then, of course, you have to look at the clock rule changes. It's just it's actually subtly changed the game and changed how Ryan Day coaches the game. Every drive now is magnified. You don't get 13 possessions in a game.
It's more NFL.
Yeah.
Advantage Ohio State with Ryan Day.
Exactly. So I think he just has to approach it differently. We got to be more efficient, more ball control. I mean, it's not big play as much anymore. It's not sheer volume. Don't throw it 40 times a game. You got to build our offense around balance. You got to hold on to the ball and keep the other offense off the field as much as humanly possible. That actually makes for a better defense in a way. And honestly, let's not forget that he's growing alongside a brand new play caller. We're going to get into that one, I know, but I think they both coexist, and I think they both have to do with each other.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that comment, and yes, we will get into that, Corey. Alex.
Yeah, I see two comments here. First, I'll touch on Ohio Alliances. That's absolutely correct. If he hadn't thrown two against Ohio, I think it would have two interceptions against Ohio. I think it would have been a little more open. And I think at halftime, Day realized, okay, I got to take the cuffs off a bit. He's handled it well thus far. We finished the first half well. I can take the cuffs off a little bit, start passing this ball more. And not be so run heavy, just so we can, get ahead and get a comfortable lead in this game, so we aren't screwing around in the fourth quarter and potentially getting upset. So I think he did take the cuffs off a little bit. And Ryan Jay's championship beard, boy, if we have that game plan like against Texas, against Team Up North, we might be staring down the barrel at 5 straight. We got to be able to learn from last year's absolute blunder and play to our strengths from start to finish against them, or because if they bring us into the fourth quarter again and it's a close game and they have a small lead or we have a small lead, that's their recipe for beating us. We got to be ahead of them by 2 touchdowns going into the fourth quarter, make them panic if we want to win that game this year.
Red, before I jump to you and your thoughts next, two comments from the chat that are incredibly interesting. One's a super chat from Bobby Mack, $5 holler. Thank you, Bobby Mack. Appreciate that. Hot take question. If DB33 was our starting quarterback, would our passing stats look a lot better in the passing game or just a little better? How about a hot take? I don't know that they would be better.
They wouldn't be better at all.
Yeah.
If Kyle McCord was quarterback, like a couple years ago, when we probably should have switched them, but Devin Brown was hurt against Wisconsin, so we couldn't put him in, that might have been okay, but not now. Julian Sayin's leaps and bounds a better quarterback.
Speaking of Honda, Day 1K says, did Honda McCord scare Ryan Day?
Yes.
Potentially, yeah.
He will never. He will forever never get a quarterback like that again, ever. If he's smart.
Well, I think he'll look to the portal before he goes with a quarterback
Yes.
like that again. I mean,
Yeah.
if this is all, because all he had was Honda and Devin Brown, which we both now is like we know is mid at best. I think he'll look to the portal immediately because I mean, look at what he did with Devin Brown going in after the Missouri game and said he's injury prone, he's not that great. I'm going Will Howard, so I'm gonna go get somebody. And then he went. Then he's like, well, we might upset the apple cart. No, I'm taking Julian Sayin. I don't care. He's a 5-star talent. He's great. He's really, really good.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that killer Ryan Day instinct there, and going to the portal with Julian, even though we had Air Nolan already in the fold. Red, your thoughts on this taking the kid gloves off Sayin conversation?
I think that it would be wise for Ryan Day to continue to protect Julian Sayin. I mean, we got to remember here, he's played Texas. He's played well in a big time moment already as a starting quarterback, but we only scored like 14 points, I think, in that ball game, right? If I'm not mistaken. So there's that to consider. And then he's a sophomore. I'm pretty sure he's a sophomore, right? If I remember correctly.
Redshirt freshman.
Redshirt freshman. Okay. Redshirt freshman, sophomore.
Same thing.
Whatever. Okay. Point that I'm trying to make here is that we want to say, oh, we need to take the kid's gloves off of this guy. We need to let him just run free and let loose. Yeah, and if we do that, there's always the risk that he could run into a brick wall and get exposed on national television and lose his confidence really early on in his career, which you don't want that to happen. So I think that it's extremely prudent that they do everything they can to protect him in these early games. Now, am I going to say that they should play this way the rest of the season? No. I think once you get to the games where we're playing Penn State, we're playing, Illinois, we're playing Michigan, the gloves got to come off, and you need to be like, all right, let's see what he can do. What can this guy make? Does this guy have it? Does he have the mental fortitude to take the game into his hands and make the calls and make the plays that only a high-level college quarterback can make to win these ball games? And if he can, great. You did a great job with nesting him all the way through. If you can't, well, he's only a redshirt freshman. You got some time to work with him still. But you don't want to just throw him to the wolves early. You want to spoon feed him this stuff. Like, all right, we're going to go out a little bit here against Washington. Maybe no. Okay, we're going to dial it back. Let's go. Let's see what happens at Minnesota. You know what I mean? I think you're not gonna lose right now at this point of the season wearing the kid gloves. Come November, okay, I'm gonna be a little bit concerned if we're still playing cautiously with them.
Fair enough. My next question goes hand in hand with this conversation, and it has to do with the fact that, let me preface this by saying, everybody who pops into the chat during the live stream and goes, is Ryan Day calling the plays again? No, he's not. Let me explain to you Football 101. During the week, they put together what's called a game plan.
Ooh, what's that?
Yes. A game plan is when the head coach and the offensive coordinator and the offensive staff sit down and they say, okay, what's the opponent bad at and how can we attack them and move the ball efficiently to score more points than them? Because at the end of the day, that's what matters, scoring more points than your opponent. And so Ryan Day, does he have a lot of influence over the game plan? You betcha. Does he sit? Is Ryan Day sitting there with the card in his hand going, all right, we're going to go blue 56, 18 left, jet sweep on 3?
No, please don't call it jet sweep.
No, he's not doing that.
PTSD.
That's right. That is Brian Hartline up in the box who's calling the play, sending it down to the quarterback through the little headset in the helmet. Okay, guys? Now, does Ryan Day, could he say, hey, Brian, if it's 3rd and short on this one, I want to go with a run play here to the left? Yeah, he can do that. Sure, he's the freaking head coach. All head coaches should be doing that.
Yeah.
Are they paying attention to the game? And by the way, last time I checked, Ryan Day's pretty good at offense.
No.
Well,
Yes.
well,
There's been times I've questioned that though. But
Oh,
the
he's
vast
pretty good at
The vast
offense.
majority of the time, I'm like, yeah, when he's in assassin Ryan Day mode, when he's in pee down my leg Ryan Day mode, then he's not.
I'll tell you, Ryan Day is the greatest offensive mind to ever come through Ohio State. But the problem is he needed to fix the rest of his coaching game. He needed to become that CEO and that leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's where he needed to improve his ability. And I think he has. So, I mean, we lately the evidence is stacking up. But that being said, to me, first it was Urban Meyer, and now I'm like, no, Ryan Day, bar none, is the best offensive mind ever in Ohio State history.
Well, I think at a time, Urban Meyer, the answer to that question was yes, at a time.
Yeah.
But that was, when he was taking that spread option offense there and doing things that no one had done before, Utah, Florida, but time marches on. And Urban's offense, maybe not the most efficient thing anymore in college football. But to get back at my question here, and I wanted to set all of that up to say this. Is Brian Hartline being too conservative on purpose as a play caller? Corey.
Oh, okay. I was about to say which one. Which one of the 3 here? Yes, and I think, again, I keep going back to this tonight. Ryan Day has a new philosophy. It's pretty obvious, and I think we've been seeing it since 2023, and everybody said it was just because of McCord, but I actually think it's how Ryan Day wants to coach now. It's more Tressel-esque, if I will, because of the way the game's played now. I think he understands the importance of defense, obviously, special teams, and balance on offense. It's not run and shoot anymore, so we're not going to. I mean, we were afraid we were going to become that Big 12-like team with no defense and just 7-on-7 passing, and it was like, I hate being called soft, but there was a little bit of truth to those accusations for a while there. You can't say it anymore, but honestly, I think it's Brian Hartline. Okay, Chip Kelly could go to Ryan Day and say, "Shut up! I know what I'm doing." Kevin Wilson can go to Ryan Day and say, "Shut up! I know what I'm doing." Brian Hartline hadn't earned that yet, So Brian Day, you want to go with a careful game plan because we got a brand new quarterback and we're breaking in brand new running backs, so we got 2 new offensive line. Okay, gotcha, sir. I'll do it that way. And like you said, Eric, I guarantee there's plays like, hey Brian, you notice the defensive end slanting inward? We can take advantage of that, things like that. I think it's definitely helping him grow and develop sequencing in his play calling because he's still 4 games in. I'm getting tired of people wanting to give up on him already. I think he's doing actually a pretty good job. And there's certain parts of the game you're like, wow, that was timely. That was really good. So Brian Hartline's not a dummy. I think he's going along with Ryan Day's game plan in accordance with developing a new quarterback and also learning himself. And he doesn't want to force big mistakes and have as many opportunities as you used to have to make up ground. So I actually think his growth is ascending right now, and he's doing better and better. I like what he's doing. I like the game plan they're giving him, and I like the fact he has Ryan Day kind of there to be a mentor to him.
Alex, I was going to say something, but Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, like, these guys do what any other coaching staff does and script plays for the start of a game just to feel out what your opponent's going to do defensively and stuff like that. So we got to keep that stuff in mind too. But when it comes to Brian Hartline, I get it from a standpoint of this is his first true year play calling. Obviously, he got upgraded to offensive coordinator a couple years ago. Everybody thought he was calling plays then when he wasn't. And to this day, people still think he was, which blows my mind. But Brian, this is his first true year as the offensive coordinator. He's getting acclimated to this as well as Julian Sayin. So I understand for the first road test of the year to use the similar game plan to Texas. And I mean, kudos to the balls on Ryan Day for publicly saying to the press, this is going to be a similar game plan to Texas. Basically, like saying Washington, hey, here's what we're going to do. Stop us. And they didn't, inevitably. But I thought it was very important that first drive of the second half on what they did to really show, okay, Julian's good. We can give him more in this game now. And they let him go out and do his thing. And all of a sudden, his stats went from like 2 yards passing to 200 some. So they're getting the confidence not just in Sayin, but in Hartline as we go forward here. And I think against Minnesota, you'll see a lot more opened up. The gloves will be off. And that'll be because I don't think deep down, I don't think they have a fear that Minnesota's going to pose much of a threat. So I think that they'll allow Julian to throw the ball downfield a little more, get a little more acclimated. If they have to bring the reins back, if they see him losing it, they will. But I think Day, after that Washington game, the look in his eye, he's like, okay, I got confidence in my OC now. I got confidence in my quarterback now, 100,000%. Let's really nail this thing going forward because this team is capable of scoring 30-plus a game with this offense. And we have the wide receivers to do it. And it really is as simple as when all else fails, just get the ball to 4. It's really that simple.
Real quick, Red, before you jump in on this, let me say this. I want to take you back to the early 2000s when Jim Tressel was coach. And if you would have said, hey, man, we beat Minnesota 24-6, you would have been like, dang, Tressel really opened it up, huh?
A lot of people forget what Tressel ball was really like back then. I agree.
We beat Eastern Michigan like what 70-something to 3, and I was like, whoa, like Dan Sansabacher years. I was like, okay, whoa, Tress.
Hey, whoa, Tress. Who put espresso in your coffee this morning?
Boy, he chose violence that day. I said, okay.
I remember after the Marshall game when Justin Zwick had his one good game as a Buckeye for that first half, and he just aired it out and went crazy. And they said, Tressel, is this a new era? Is this Air Tressel? And he goes, gee, I hope not.
Was that the game Mike Nugent Siegel?
Yes, that was the 54-yard game winner or whatever.
Yeah, he scored every single point in that game. Yeah.
Well, our offense in the first half was unstoppable. The second half, I don't know what happened. Tressel was like, slow it down. I don't want to score too much.
Justin Zwick.
Yeah. The second he realized, remembered he was Justin Zwick. It's like, wait a minute, this is way too good.
The sweater vest is like dragging Tress into the locker room. Like, what are you doing? All right, Red, man, give me your thoughts on Brian Hartline here, dude.
It's hard to say if this is what Ryan Day's new tactic is going into this season, or if this is Hartline's vision. We don't really know for 100% certainty either way here. I think you got to, again, look at the situation that Hartline's dealing with here. He came back to a team that had one of the top wide receivers in the nation, Jeremiah Smith. Great. Solid offensive line as always. Great. A couple of good options. Great. But young quarterback. Top running back, gone. What are you going to do? You're going to get a little more conservative, or you're going to dig back into what you're familiar with. Tressel ball. You get a little conservative on the play calling for big-time games. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just more concerned that if they continue down this road, it's got to be done effectively. Like, if you're going to do 13-play, 7-minute drives every single time you have the ball, you better score every single time you have the ball. None of this, well, we're going to wait until the last minute of the first half crap. No, you got to score every single drive. Get something out of it, or you're killing a lot of clock for just 3 possessions and only 1 touchdown. That's what, in my opinion, the greatest flaw of Tressel ball is in that regard. And the greatest flaw of the offense that we have right now, if we don't score at the end of these long drives, the other team, shoot, the offense just got like a 7-8 minute break. They're going to be fresh as a daisy. Granted, our defense will be fresh as a daisy, but I mean, come on. All it takes is just one play in college football, and the game is flipped on its head. So
I'm going to say that one of the reasons why it's not a full philosophical change is the fact that the last 2 games on those first drives, he's gone for it on 4th down.
yeah,
If it was a true full philosophical change, he would be like, give me the points. I'll take those 3.
I personally believe that every single time you're in field goal range, you should take the dang points, because at the end of the day, it's points. You need every single point you get. You can be aggressive as much as you want, but being, the meanest dog in the yard and having nothing to show for it doesn't mean anything compared to the guy that's maybe not as mean but has all the points.
And I agree with that, Red, but I also think that in his mind, he's still the same guy. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to go put 7 on the board. I believe in my guys here. And if we don't get it, guess what? I have a defense, and you're backed up inside your own 5 or whatever.
That does help.
Two things, though, I will say. We tried to take the points a couple times against the team up north, and look how that went. And Urban Meyer always used to say championship teams can convert it on 4th down. And we, last couple games, have missed on that 3 times. So we got to get better at that.
Yeah.
And I don't trust Fielding enough yet. I know he made a field goal in this game. I don't trust him enough yet. I need him to do that November 29th.
I mean, look at a team that's way more aggressive than Ohio State and Baylor. They go for it on 4th down all the freaking time.
Well, look at Oregon last night. Oregon was like, we're going to run on a 3rd and 6. We're going to run it up the middle to set up the 4th and 3 play I want to call. Yeah. Like from my 40-yard line. Like that was literally his game plan last night, and it almost blew up in his face. But I digress. Corey, go ahead.
Eric, I'm going to push back on you a little bit.
Sure.
I think going forward on 4th down actually coincides with the new Ryan Day is what I'm talking about. I'll tell you why. If, like Red is saying, you better score points on these limited drives, you have to go for 7. That has to go along with it. I think that's just the way the game has changed. I don't think, because you see every coach now going for it on 4th down. Analytics has taken over football in general to where they will go for it on 4th down. That being said, I don't think that changes the philosophy as much as it just goes along with the current realistic nature of the game. I don't think that. I mean, it used to be like Tressel would punt from the opponent's 30-yard line. It's field position because you'd have a lot more drives, you'd have a lot more opportunities. Now that you don't, you better get that 7. You better keep that drive alive in order to keep the other offense off the field and keep the opportunities out of their hands.
And there's another point to your point, Corey. So I'm going to now add to your point and take away from my own here.
Lawyered.
It's not full Tressel ball because Ryan Day literally ignores special teams like it's the plague.
It sucks.
And like I've come to this conclusion in the last couple weeks, and it's now something I'm going to start hammering. There's no reason why special teams should not be a weapon on this team with as many great athletes as we have. Why is it that we are so bad at special teams? And even
we can't find a punter for some reason.
And even when we do something good, we fumbled the ball. It's like we cannot, like, I swear somewhere Jim Tressel is looking at this going, Ryan, like
he just said he's not running for governor. Hey, Coach Tress, do you want to coach special teams for the Ohio State Buckeyes? I'll keep saying it until it happens. Come on home, Tress. Ryan's got a spot for you. He'll fix it up in a week.
Buck 8, go get one from Australia. We have 2 from Australia currently.
They both stink.
And they both stink. One's inconsistent, one can't kick. 35-yarder yesterday.
Like, I saw the video of the one booting an 80-yard punt. Where's that at? I haven't seen it.
Can't do it from moment. He can't do it from kick to kick. Unfortunately,
Once he puts the scarlet and gray on, he's like dirt.
Yep.
You know,
He probably keeps thinking that 33
Amen,
yard kick is a
Eric.
33-meter kick.
Amen, Eric.
Good, well done, Red. Good one.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. You're all week.
So yes, you're right. I think you're right, Corey. But I think if Ryan Day is going to do that philosophical change, special teams needs to come along with that. It can't
I
just
think he's
be
attempting. He's just not succeeding at it yet.
okay.
Because
Fair
well,
enough.
I mean, when he got rid of Parker Fleming, gave it to several assistant coaches, much like Tressel used to, on the advice of Tressel. Actually, it's just still not there. We don't have a punter. Our kicker is good inside 40, usually, and our return game is non-existent. But again, that's also changed since Tressel's day, unfortunately.
Yes, the kickoff has completely changed. Um, I, God help us if they do the NFL kickoff thing now.
That's
You
pretty
mean the
useless to
UFL?
watch.
I think
Yeah.
there's a reason they haven't yet. It's because it's trash. I get the safer aspect of it, but then again, you sign up to do this. You accept that there is a degree of risk to playing this game. I played it 13 years. I know dang well that my brain ain't 100% on right anymore. That's the price you pay for playing this game. I'm sorry to say. You
It
just gotta
wasn't
accept
even. It wasn't even just the safer aspect. It's supposed to create more kickoff returns for touchdowns, and it kind of did. I don't know how consistent that'll be, but
No,
it kind of did.
not really.
I can tell you right now, my brain is messed up. I didn't even play football, so
I think that's just being a man, right? I think I don't know,
well,
man. I mean,
that's just being
I
born with
remember
poor genes, I guess. I don't know.
I remember getting a concussion in basketball really bad, where my head bounced off the hardwood floor, and seeing the whole birds thing, like the cartoons, like you seeing stars or whatever. And literally back then, they would help you up, pat you on the butt, and say, you okay? All right, go
Here's
get
an
back
orange
in,
slice.
get back in line, bud.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking, my gosh, I probably had a concussion there in that one. But anyways, I digress. That's why you need the export mouth guard, everybody.
Nice.
There you go. Nice plug.
Thank
Nice
you.
plug.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Any last thoughts on this topic, guys? We're in overtime now.
No, I think
get paid double?
I think just going forward, take the gloves off Julian and let's see what this offense is really about. Like I said, they could easily score 30 plus a game. Let them do it.
I'd like to see, some opening it up a little bit. Then they did get scrambling, obviously, which so what,
Yeah.
But I think they tried with Ohio, and he was just missing some guys, so made him pull back a little bit. I don't know, but I'll say I don't. As far as finding out what he has in crunch time, you're not going to find that out until we get there. And there will be a game this year, obviously, or two that we get. I think Penn State, with their defense, will actually be in a tight game with them going into the fourth quarter. I think at that point we start to see, will Ryan Day finally go to Julian and say, go win the game? And be interesting. I mean, right now he hasn't had to do that. He's just had to manage it. And I like that. I like that we can win comfortably with that. But there's going to be times it's inevitable. We'll see. We'll see it when we see it.
One final question. I know, and this is based off the Ohio Alliance adding this in here on Lincoln Keenholz. I know Lincoln Keenholz has a package, an offensive package, and RPO. I saw it in practice with my own two eyes. I know that they were working on it all the way back in August. I know it's there. We haven't seen it one time on a fourth down. We have not seen it in the red zone yet. I was thinking about this today. Is he saving that for the big ones? And in the meantime, he's like, we're going to work through these issues with what we have in the red zone with this current offense to get it fixed. And I'm going to save that for when they don't expect it. Say the Penn State game, maybe the game up north.
I think so. I think that's a good measuring stick for it. Yeah. I don't know if we'll need it against Penn State per se, but against a team up north, I think at that point you throw everything you got into that. Because if anything comes from this year, and I was a guy who said before the season, don't expect a repeat. I've kind of changed my tune a little bit on that because I see this team and how they're performing. I'm like, okay, I can see it more now. I thought all the guys we lost would be a huge effect on us. But if one thing comes out of this season, let it be beating them. And I think Ryan Day is going to have the assassin mentality to say, okay, we've played conservative enough. We're going to play to our strengths in this one, and let's throw this wrinkle and this wrinkle at them, and they won't know what to do. They'll be in more hell than they were against Oklahoma. That's what it needs to be. So I think throwing Keen holes in there, they'll be like, are they going to throw it? Because he can throw it. Are they going to run it? Because he's pretty fast. So I think that'll be the game you see it more used, maybe a few times.
I think we'll see it this year. I don't like it, but I think we'll see it because I don't think it generally works when you take a cold quarterback and throw him in there and expect him to make a play. But the only time I've ever seen it work is in 2015 when they brought in JT inside the 20. But JT was a seasoned pro by then, and he could come in and do that. Lincoln's played all of 20 seconds in his career, so it's like I'd have to see it work. The only time you're going to see it work is against a team that's probably less capable of stopping it.
You saw it work another time too.
What's that?
2006 Florida.
20 years ago?
Chris Slick and Tim Tebow. They made us feel it.
Comparing anybody to that situation is unfair, though.
I don't know if I would compare Lincoln to Tim Tebow, though.
Yeah,
I know, but it's a similar thing. They used a quarterback for a certain package, and it was very, very effective. So,
Red?
You never know.
I agree with Corey here. I'm not a fan of the idea of bringing in somebody that's cold on the bench and hasn't really been playing in this game, and bringing them on a special package to deploy in a certain game scenario. You saw Texas trying to do that crap with Arch last year to try to get him into the game, and you saw how little it really ever worked out doing that. So I'm not a fan of the philosophy. If they have a package like that, great. They are definitely not going to use it anytime soon. And if they are going to use it, they're either going to be doing it when they're desperate and they're trying to make something happen, or it's a big time game and you need to shake it up a little bit in the game plan. That's about it. I don't really see them using, holding that back for a special scenario. I see them like, all right, well, if we got to bring in Keen holds, so here's a package we can use Keen holds and in a jiffy. Not hey, what if we bring him in just to shake up the defensive coordinator because he can have him on this guy, right? Like, I personally hate that crap. It's crap to me. It rarely works, especially in modern college football. It rarely works. You could say the Florida example with Tim Tebow and Chris Lake. Sure. Again, 20 years ago. Today, nah. I throw it in the trash. If you got it, cool. If you don't, cool. Don't care. It's Sayin's team unless he gets hurt.